Welcome to Old Roommates. Today we are taking a shallow dive into the 1980s film Heathers. So grab a bag of corn nuts, sit back, and join us.
Hey everybody, welcome to Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pop culture favorites through a middle-aged lens. I'm Brian Macefield.
I'm Christina Walsh.
And we're talking about Heathers, and we're going to dive right in. Well, actually, first, Christina, where were you in 1988?
Ooh, 1988, I was 20 years old. I was in college and enjoying life, man. No responsibilities. Just a little bit of studying, making friends, drinking.
What were you like in school? Or like, what were you like in high school?
High school? I didn't love high school, but I got by. I did pretty good in grades, and I had like a lot of different friends. I didn't fit into one specific group. I had lots of friends in different areas. Some of the stoners, some of the band geeks. I was in chorus and show choir, so I had all that. A couple sport friends, and so I kind of, sort of knew different people from different areas. What about you?
It's really funny because you didn't talk about this.
No.
Me too.
Oh.
Like I didn't have a ton of friends, but the friends I had were amazing friends. I'm still friends with them now, and but I had pockets of friends in different things. I was part of the drama club.
Surprisingly enough.
But I had friends in the drama club. I had friends that were headbangers, as they say. I had friends who were truly friends because our last names begin with M, because you sit with the same people. But I didn't have a ton of friends, but the friends I had were really good, and they were kind of varied friends. Like sometimes it would happen where someone would say, "Oh, you're friends with her? I can't stand her." I'm like, "Oh no, she's my friend." Like what? And so I never felt like it's a little cliche, but I didn't really feel like I ever belonged. I certainly wasn't out. I was a very different time, 88. I was in high school at that point. I think I liked high school because there were so many people that I kind of liked getting lost in the shuffle of all those kids. I didn't like a lot of attention because I think I was going through a lot of stuff that I didn't want to deal with in a way, if that makes sense. But so I think for me, similar. I didn't really have there was no like gay clique,
right?
Because if there was, it would have been way more fun. But so that's kind of where I was at too, just 88 and just like waiting to get done. I graduated in 90, so. So Heathers,
just your everyday typical high school, right?
There were a lot of things. Like I thought, like just really, diving in as shallowly as we do. But I think one thing that really resonated with me was the gay torment of and I don't even know the character. I don't think the character was even gay. The kid with the glasses, when he was being like. They're holding him down. I'm laughing, but it's like we're holding him. They're like, "You like to suck big dicks? Like, say you like to suck big," outside the school. And he's like, "I can't get," and it's like, oh god. And I did not have that experience, but I was absolutely called fag all the time and insulted, and not so much in high school. It was more of like a elementary and junior high thing. Again, because I think you have smaller schools, and I think in a bigger high school, it doesn't. I shouldn't say it, but I don't think it happens as much in a bigger high school. But that certainly resonated with me. I remember like just kids being called. I wasn't fat. I remember a lot of other kids being called fat, and thinking back now, I'm like, wow, I remember that person being called fat, and she wasn't even fat.
Right. Have you ever looked at old pictures?
I try not to.
And so I have a couple of like old yearbooks for reasons I'm not unsure of. And you look back and you think about, because there was certainly the nerds and the outcasts, if you will, and you look and you're like, wow, it's like you said, she wasn't really that fat, but for some reason my memory of her is that she was fat, or even like the nerds, that sort of thing, or even being like now Facebook friend, right? Mm-hmm. From like one of like the nerds or something, and you're like, oh, all right, and then you find out like, oh, he's actually kind of a decent person, and you get so stuck in that like that thought of when you were in high school. Yeah. It's like the strangest thing.
Yeah.
Those
Well, I feel like too, it's like, because you're in high school, the ecosystem is very small. Mm-hmm. So they're going to go, they being, I guess, bullies, if that's what we're talking about. Like if they or the others are going to go after people that are different mm-hmm. at all within that ecosystem. But then as you get older, you realize, oh my God, I'm not the gayest thing alive. I said that as I clutched my pearls. I'm not the gayest thing alive. I'm not, I'm not the fattest person. I'm not the dumbest person. I'm not that. And so I think that's why we look back at pictures of people and like, wow, he was actually a cute kid. I don't know why they called him a nerd all the time. He was kind of hot. Like, or like she was skinny. Maybe she had big boobs. That's all. Like, and it is horrible and awful to be to be an other. And I definitely was that. And I think it's interesting with this movie, because there are so many, like Martha Dump Truck,
right?
And just those moments are like, oh God, and almost right off the bat, you know what you're dealing with the Heathers, because they're forging, or Winona Ryder's character is forging a note for Martha Dumpstock from the football kid, mm-hmm. and they bust out laughing in her face, and it's horrible, and you're like, oh my God, but the setup to it was actually quite funny. Like, I just loved the main Heather Duke. Heather McNamara. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, I forget the names too.
This is awful. But so really quick. We revisited this. I watched this probably 3 weeks ago. You watched it
about a week ago. I watched it. Yeah.
But the main Heather who drinks the Drano, like,
right.
I was shocked, because when I watched it back in the day when I was younger, I was like, I remember I just felt like she was so intense and dramatic and amazing. And I watch it now and I'm like, oh, she was even better than I remembered. Mm-hmm. Even better. That performance is amazing. I thought she was fantastic. And, I was shocked how quickly she's out of the picture. Like, it happens.
Yeah, it
fast.
happens pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And what's funny too is I completely forgot Shannon Doherty was in it.
Yeah.
I had completely forgot about that character. And then the first scene shows up and she's walking and she's reading, Moby Dick or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Where they're playing croquet. And I'm like, whoa, I forgot she was in there. And it was great, because I loved this movie growing mm-hmm. up. I mean, growing up, I guess mm-hmm. I was an adult when I saw it, but I was semi-obsessed with it. I loved it so much. I made so many people watch it with me, mm-hmm. and it was just one of those movies I just couldn't get enough of. And I think the reason is because, you're looking at this, high school movie, but all of the characters are so exaggerated. And it was just so fun mm-hmm. just to see. It was just making fun of itself mm-hmm. throughout the entire movie.
Mm-hmm. The intensity of the main Heather is Carl and I Carl's my husband. We were laughing every time she spoke. Mm-hmm. The main Heather.
Oh, she had great.
Oh my gosh! Just Google this while we're talking, like her actual.
Yeah, find out what her actual name is, because and it made me laugh. Everything out of her mouth. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's a bad joke in there too somewhere, but I feel everything out of her mouth was something that I had said, like, as a joke to people, like, "Oh, fuck me gently with a chainsaw," mm-hmm. like, and I forgot that all of these little phrases came from Heather's. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's hilarious that how many, and most of them were her lines, I think. It was just fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she did anything else after that either.
So I think it's Heather Chandler.
And
right. Her actress's name was Kim Walker. She passed away. Did you know this?
Oh no.
And it's It's
Did
actually
she swallow
it's quite horrible.
Drano?
No, but so bad joke.
Okay.
You should be ashamed of yourself. How dare you? But she died of a brain tumor.
Oh.
And there's that line, you know.
Did you have a brain tumor for breakfast? Yeah.
It's really sad. Apparently, she was very good friends with Jennifer Aniston.
Oh.
They were friends. They went to LaGuardia High School together. This is all from Wiki. I don't just have this. I don't just have this information in my head. But so yeah, Kim Walker was her name,
yeah,
and
she was great,
incredible. And every line, she just sounds so frustrated. Like she's so over it. She just wants. I think she thinks everyone around her is a loser. Mm-hmm. And like just the littlest thing, like when Shannon Doherty's character is like, yeah, what's today's question, Heather? She's, my God, Heather, you're such a pillowcase. I told you at lunch, or told you at recess or lunch. I don't know, whatever.
We talked about it together or something like that.
Yeah, we just talked about it. Ugh, such a pillowcase. And I just love her frustration.
Yeah.
And, was she mean enough? Did she deserve to die? I don't think so. but that's the movie. And I have to say, as far as acting too, I think Winona Ryder is fantastic. I have to say, I loved it even more, or more.
Yeah. I loved it even more too. I thought it was going to be dated.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much. In fact, I was doing other things while it was on because I'm like, I've seen this movie a million times. It's fine. It's just a little refresher for the podcast. And I had to put everything away. I was so captivated by it. I'm like, oh my gosh! I'm like, I can't even focus on anything else. I was loving it so much.
And I think partly, maybe part of it too, is because now we're older, but they're quite young in this movie, and so to see a young Winona Ryder, a young Christian Slater, young Shannon Doherty, it's like well, maybe not Shannon Doherty. I have to be honest. I kind of struggled with her acting, to be honest. But like Winona Ryder is so good, and because I don't really care for her in Stranger Things, at least season 1. I don't think I think I told you my feeling about that. I feel like she's very scene by scene. I don't think she is really that character. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like here's my thing. I feel like they wake her up in her trailer and it's like, Winona, in this scene you're really frazzled, and she's like, got it. And she just like starts acting. Because I feel like she just is scene to scene a different character. I don't think she's invested. That's just a side thing. But I think she, in Heather, is to be so young and so good in this movie. I just bought everything. I bought every single thing. I think
this was her first. Was this before Mermaids?
Well, there's Mermaids, there's Beetlejuice, there's Lucas.
Oh, I think
Lucas was her first movie.
Yeah, but she wasn't great in that.
I thought she was good.
Yeah.
I really thought she was fantastic in that whole first chunk of her career.
Well, I loved her in Mermaids. I loved her in Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I loved her in Heathers.
Yeah. I think it is considered just a dark comedy then. I think it would even be more controversial now. I wonder how it would be. It's
so funny.
Well, a gun, like there's like the gun in the school. There's
the teachers are smoking in the teachers lounge.
I know.
It was so funny because I'm thinking everybody is just so exaggerated, and I think one of the reasons why I loved this movie is because I feel like it was my first taste of a dark comedy. Mm-hmm. And it was before, it was before all the internet and everything else. I had no idea what the movie was about. Mm-hmm. I just saw Christian Slater and I loved Christian Slater. I'm like, oh, excellent, I'm going to watch this movie, blah, blah, blah. And, you think it's going to be a typical high school movie and all of a sudden there's a murder and then there's another murder and there's like, and you're like, holy shit, what's going to happen here? So, to me, I think it's very unusual for me to be watching a movie and not really be able to predict what's going to happen or whatever. And this was one of those movies where I was like, wow, this was great. It really surprised me, and I loved it. And I think that even today, somebody watching it, it would be surprising.
Totally.
The language and and what's funny is I feel like it's even like it stands up because everybody was so exaggerated.
I think that's why. I think that's why when people talk about the Golden Girls lately, it never goes away. How influential that show is, and I think it's because they were these sort of slightly exaggerated characters. And I think that's what works with Heather's too, is that these scenarios are so exaggerated that they, weirdly enough, still make an impact. Like, everyone is like, you know what you're getting. Like, Christian Slater is head to toe black, like in darkness. And so it's like, it's these themes and these characters that are very obvious. The blonde cheerleader, the overweight, lonely girl, and so it's very, I don't minimize it, but it's almost like an easy world to get into. And I think that is very relatable. And I think Christian Slater, with his essentially Jack Nicholson impression, is really great. So some friends and I at work watched it, I said a few weeks ago, and there's some people that hadn't ever seen it before, and some people that did.
Interesting.
And there was some debate with the idea of the main Heather, Kim Walker, being a good actress. And I had to bring that up because a few people thought she was not good at all. And I don't know why. And I don't know if it was because they felt she was over the top. And I'm like, you have to be.
But everybody in that movie was
over the top.
Every single line in that movie is over the top. The only character that today does not look over the top, believe it or not, in my, world as a parent, is the flighty teacher.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah.
She's more the norm.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
The hand holding and
what does he say? Let me know when the shuttle lands. Hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's more of the norm now. But every other character, except for maybe Winona's character, Veronica, she's, I don't know, she didn't really fit in anywhere. She was like right in...
Well, I think in the mother, Veronica's mother, that character. I remember before I had just watched it again a few weeks ago, I remember that if you were to say, tell me about that character, I'd be like, oh, she doesn't speak. Like, she doesn't speak in that movie. I remember her saying, you two, like that whole joke when Veronica and her dad are teasing each other, which is, actually, I remember it being more playful. It's kind of mean. It's a little like, because you're an idiot. Like that. And I was like, oh my God, she just called her dad an idiot. But then when the mother's like, you wouldn't say that now. Right. So then it's like, oh, you two. And then I forgot that whole speech towards the end where she's like, you really miss voice of a generation. Usually kids that complain about being treated like children are complaining because they are being treated like adults. Yeah, whatever. I'm messing it up. But I was like, oh, that's really kind of a big point of this movie, is that these kids are making almost hyper adult decisions and these horrible patterns of behavior because they think that is the aggressive grown-up version of how to deal with certain things, I guess. And it is interesting, but I loved that character of Veronica's mother.
Oh, the parents were hilarious. Yeah, yeah, I really like those two too. Yeah, speaking of parents, what was really surprising to me, JD's father.
Oh my God! Okay.
I thought he was so much older. When I think back, he seems ancient to me. And when I watched it this time, I was like, holy crap, he's probably like my age right now. Or maybe even younger. It was so funny.
Young. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, I didn't remember him young at all.
I didn't remember all the boxes in the living room. I feel like there were like boxes everywhere.
Well, didn't they just move?
Yeah. It was weird. And and also, so this is kind of big. What happened to JD's mother? Because we were talking about this at work, that he talks about seeing her wave from the library window. And then the more we talked about it, it was like, was she waving goodbye or was she waving for help?
Well, that's a good point. But he did say later in the movie when he was talking, I think it was when they were like, I don't know, maybe, I don't know what it was, but he was talking to Veronica about it and said that the last time he saw his mother she was walking into, no, this is not a conversation that was in the house. Right. She was walking in, but she knew it was going to, I forget exactly how he worded it, but she knew the building was going to be destroyed, and seconds beforehand she walked into the building and waved.
Oh.
So I took it as she took her own life but
Wow, and you're doing laundry. During
not that. No, I had to put my stuff away. I had to put it away.
I don't remember that. But
yeah, it was a little further in. I can't remember
yeah.
the exact scene. But it was when they were still friends, you know.
Yeah. No, I thought that was really good and interesting. And I think this might be a perfect time to take a break.
I agree.
We'll be right back with more Heathers.
Hey there, it's Brian and Christina. We just wanted to take this break to thank you for listening to Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pop culture through a middle-aged lens. Please subscribe to Old Roommates on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. And give us a rating or review while you're there.
And if you have any questions, comments, or observations, shoot us an email at oldroommatespod@gmail.com. And follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Old Roommates. Thanks for listening, and now, back to the show.
All right, we're back.
Back talking about Heathers on Old Roommates, doing a shallow dive. Other podcasts do a deep dive. Us, keeping it shallow.
I like that. We're keeping it shallow.
So we've just been like talking about how much we loved it, and we loved it, and we loved it, and we loved it perhaps maybe even more than we loved it 20 years ago. What did you not remember or what did you not like as much this time around? I definitely have my answer, but I'll ask you first.
So I did really like it.
Yeah.
I think I liked it more now
me too.
than I did before. I think if there was any criticism that I had, it would be the same criticism that I would have had way back when, is I never could understand why Veronica was in the Heather group to begin with. It really confuses me. I can't see that she was ever that type of person or even a follower. So it was always a little confusing to me why she would end up in that group.
There is talk that it seems because she can forge Jenny. Oh, jeez. Here's my cat. Because she can forge anyone's signature, that makes her. It's clear why they want her. Right. But you're right. It is not super clear why she would even want to be with the Heathers.
Right. And she seems strong enough. Her just personality seems strong enough to say no or just not, partake. Yeah.
I wonder if it's in there. I mean, I don't think I missed anything.
I've seen it so many times. There's nothing in there
that talks about that.
There's no indication.
Weird.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's almost like she's from a different school or something, but we know that that's not true because she used to hang out with Betty Finn.
That's right. I liked her too. I liked Betty.
She was sweet.
She was sweet. So that's a very good point. The thing that bothered me, and it's really crazy because I do think it's done for laughs at one of the memorable scenes, is the date rape culture. And there's a line that JD says, which is all they offered was date rape and AIDS jokes. Yeah. And there's a scene where in the cow pasture where they tip the cow over, and then there's a very gross sequence where Ram is ripping the clothes off of one of the Heathers on the ground, and it's in the background, and I believe it is totally done for laughs. Did you feel that?
I didn't feel it to be date rapey because I didn't feel like she didn't want it.
Controversial. Okay.
Well, I'm a woman, so I can talk that way. No, it just seems because she really liked him, and if you really like them, that means you have to have sex with them on the date. No, I'm just kidding. But no, it didn't seem like she was struggling to get away from him. It just seemed like they were having messy sex. To me, that was just what I kind of
interesting. It's interesting because
But there was an almost date rape situation with JD and Veronica.
That's what's crazy to me,
right?
Too. Yeah.
When she's trying to get up and he pulls her back
down,
and he tries to kiss her and and
there's
that whole thing back and forth a few times.
And there's the other scene at the college party where Heather is kissing the guy, and he has his, I think, his hand on the back of her neck, and she like pushes him away. She's like, "Okay, come on." He's like, "But Heather, you're so hot." And then he says that, and she goes down on him.
She goes down on him. Yeah.
And then there's that scene where she spits in the mirror. I mean, it's like dark, and it's like
That's
it's
a very dark part.
little sad. It's sad, and so it kind of gives her a little bit of humanity or some self-hate, and then she dies anyway. But but I think the date rape, I was like, I can't quite get my head around that scene with the cow, or the cow scene, just because it's like I don't. It's because I'm sure I laughed. That's probably what I'm saying.
Right.
I laughed 20 years ago. I was really like, oh god, this scene's so gross. Like now, it's not funny. It's it can be taken in a couple different ways, and both of them I think are bad. So yeah, but I think all in all, this is a really funny, hilarious movie. I'm so glad. I'll definitely. I don't know. As soon as it was over, I wanted to watch it again. That's how much I
felt
liked
the same way, Brian.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's not for everyone.
Yeah.
You have to have sort of that dark humor.
Yeah. Do you have any? If you were to pick like one line or two lines of dialogue that like, that should be celebrated.
I just felt like all those like little one-liners. Like there was one, stop pulling my dick. Like it was just like these random.
Oh, that's Shannon Doherty's line.
Yeah.
Why are you pulling my dick?
Why are you pulling my dick? That's
Yeah.
what. And then I had mentioned earlier, "Fuck me gently" with a chainsaw.
Yeah.
It was just a classic.
That is a classic. I like when Veronica has the big speech to her parents, and she says, we don't deserve to be patronized like bunny rabbits, and the whole thing goes on, and the father finally says, I don't patronize bunny rabbits. And then the hippie teacher, filled with love, approaches Veronica in the hallway, and she's like, Veronica, come on, boo. And I don't even remember what she even says, but there's a beat, and like Veronica is just staring at her, and finally she goes, get a job. Oh, it's so good. Heather's. So if you've seen it, see it again. If you haven't seen it, definitely see it. It is so good. We gave some spoilers, but they're not really spoilers.
No,
they're in the
enjoy
commercial.
It anyway.
You'll know it. You could, someone at work was saying, like, spoilers are only bad if the movie isn't good, because even if you know what happens, it still has to be done well. Right. So, and I think this with Heather's it's done so well.
It was great. The music's fun. Mm-hmm. It's just, so
now,
campy.
It is our classic, or already a classic.
It's already a classic.
Match game minute, where we see if we can guess what each other is going. I'm screwing this up. How we answer the question we ask each other.
Oh my gosh!
We're
going to play a match game.
Yeah,
basically. We're going to each ask each other a question, and we have to guess what we are going to be saying.
Really quick, are you watching
the
Alec Baldwin version?
I am.
I like it.
I do. I like it. He does a good job. It's funny the people that end up as celebrities on there.
Julie Klausner was on there.
Yeah. LaToya Jackson was on there.
Okay. I told you the Joel McHale thing. The Joel McHale, I want to say Jenna Maroney, but it's Jane Krakowski.
Oh, right.
She kept flirting with him. It was a little awkward. But I really love Julie Klausner.
I like her.
She was very funny.
She's good.
All right, Christina. So I'm going to try and guess how you will answer this.
I need the
you need the paper and the pen. Yeah. So here is your question. If you went back in time to this high school, this fictional high school in Heathers, who would you want to bring you to the prom, so to speak, and all the things that are expected after the prom?
The dark horse and the running, right?
Well, no, who would you want to go to prom with? Oh, sorry.
I apologize, everybody.
This is the match game music. And you don't have to remember the character's name, you can just describe them. Judging by how much your pen's moving, I'm guessing you're describing them. I know. Well, I shouldn't say that.
Okay, hold on. Let me rip it out.
Okay. Christina is in. All right, so I'm gonna say I think we'd have the same answer on this. I really do. I really do. I think we do. I'm gonna say it's not Ram. It's the other guy.
Oh
no, Kelly.
Ryan.
What's his name? Ned Kelly.
He was terrible.
He was really cute, though. And I think he was only...
That's your criteria.
No, I think he was only bad because of guilt by association. I think he was bad because Ram was awful.
I don't know. I felt he was more the leader.
Really?
Ram
I thought Ram was
followed.
the leader.
I don't know.
All right, so that,
we'll just have to
so
watch
it's wrong.
it
So I
again.
thought you would say him.
No, that is definitely
Ted
not my
Kelly,
answer.
whatever his name is.
I would never. No,
Yeah.
he was.
Okay.
Ugh,
What did you say?
JD.
Yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
Yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
Oh.
JD. He did it for me then,
Wow.
and he will do it for me again. No.
Is it awkward? Was it awkward, the scene in the garden?
Oh,
when they're-
terrible!
Right, it's
Oh.
weird. I felt like dirty. I was like, they're little kids almost.
So
right?
here's the thing with
Okay.
that scene.
Yeah.
So, and I remember actually I had forgotten about it, and then I watched it again. I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot about this scene. So, I think he's just the sexiest thing ever.
Okay.
Or at least I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Sorry, Matt.
It feels wrong now. Yeah.
But yeah, I would absolutely choose him. I think it would be exciting and fun, and would probably have a nice time afterwards as well. But the scene in the garden.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! You know what I remember about that scene?
What?
His pasty white, skinny
Yes.
chest.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's what me. I was like, this
terrible.
feels a little uncomfortable.
He looked little, like he was 12
little.
years old.
Completely. He looked like E.T.
It was terrible,
It was like
and I
E.T. in the
remembered it.
freezer.
Yes. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, totally.
Yeah. Just
it
like
was
it.
almost like a sunken-in chest.
Just
Oh, it was
like it.
terrible. All right, forget. I'm changing my answer. No, I'm just kidding. But no, it was. That was a horrible, horrible scene. Okay, so
My turn.
moving on to Brian's question.
All right.
So, Brian, my question to you is, who do you think you relate to the most? And you can choose any of the characters, adult, child, whatever.
Are you gonna do
We should record that somewhere. And
Well, I know. I don't
start
think we
playing it.
can legally.
Oh, we can do it.
Use
It's
it.
fine. Who's gonna find this podcast? What are they gonna do? Fine us $100?
One moment.
They'd probably appreciate it
Don't
better.
look. I'm in. Who?
Yeah, I didn't hear the ding.
Oh, ding.
Good job.
Okay.
All right, so I think you will relate most. Let me think about this. Wait, I have to think.
It's only a timeless show.
I know. Seriously, sorry, people. I will just say I'm going to say the main Heather. No, I'm going to say Veronica.
Wow. They always say stick with your
Oh no!
first. But no, it's not.
Oh.
It was actually, in this case, it was your second answer. The tall blonde cheerleader, Heather.
I was
Because
almost going to say that.
I feel that I did relate to her a lot because, and I know that she's kind of a nondescript character, but she's just surrounded by these, like, people that I believe she really considers them good, real friends, even though they might be sour or mean or whatever. I think she really something about her nature and just the way she treats people. I think it was another, like, sort of like, I'm just going with the flow here, and I'm going to try, and I like these girls. And the whole thing with actually, she is the one that gets date raped but with Ram, not
Right.
date raped, sorry, I won't say that. But with, Ram, it's like I kind of felt like she was going with it because he's popular. And not that
I don't see that you would do that.
No. But I'm saying I think it's like I related to her from, like, I think a high school perspective. And a little bit where it's like, you know what? Like, I think she tries to rationalize. Like, my thing is, like, I try to avoid assuming intention. Like, I don't, like, if someone's mean to me, I'm not like, oh, they're mean to me because they hate me. I don't usually go that way. I'm more like, God, they must have had a bad day. Well, they're going through something. And I feel like she's friends with some monsters, but she's still their friend.
Right.
And she's not monstrous. And so I think there's, like, her character is, like, a little deeper. I think the more, like, when you watch it later on. And I found myself, like, relating to her, whereas 20 years ago, she barely registered for me, really.
It's interesting.
And yeah, but so there you go.
Very nice.
I'm a tall blonde cheerleader, finally. So anyway, that's me, and that was you. And that is it for us, and for this episode of Old Roommates. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe to Old Roommates on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and wherever you listen to podcasts. And give us a rating or review while you're there, please. If you have an idea for the show, a suggestion, or a comment, email us at oldroommatespod@gmail.com.
And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Old Roommates. This is Christina.
And this is Brian.
Thanks again for listening. Till next time.